from the Eden's Fun Crochet. I'm Eden, and today we will be learning how to make a solid bandana.
Eden's Crochet.
We have two styles. The bandana part itself is built the exact same. You can either do a single crochet border or you can do a picot border. For this project, we will be using I Love This Cotton in the colorway pink. You can use any size 4 yarn that you want. I recommend cotton because it is more breathable for summer, so it's nice for anything like bandanas or bucket hats. You can use any size 4 yarn, but I recommend cotton. And then we will be using a size 5mm hook, and you will need scissors for fastening off. And you can use a darting needle for weaving in your ends, but I just use my crochet hook. And you will need a safety pin or some sort of stitch marker. I prefer safety pins because they're easier to come by, and if you lose one, it's not the end of the world. And you don't have to use a stitch marker if you don't want to. It's just going to help us remember where the middle of our project is. We will start by chaining 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once you have your 4 chains, you're going to wrap your hook, go back into this first chain, and do a double crochet. These chain 3 are going to count as a double crochet. So right now I have 2 double crochets on my hook, and I want a total of 7. So we want 5 more. They're all going into this first chain that we did. All 7 of them. 5, 6, 7. And it should look like this. We're going to turn our work and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now into that same space, we're going to double crochet. And then we're going to double crochet until we get into the center. So we want it to be the 4th double crochet from the last row. So this is our first double crochet from the last row, our second, our third, and we want this 4th one. You can mark it with a stitch marker or safety pin to help you remember where it is. And we're going to double crochet until we get there, which gives us a total of 4 double crochets so far, and we are going to do 5 double crochets into the spot where we have our safety pin. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to take that safety pin and put it in the middle of these 5 stitches. So the 3rd one that we put into the middle. And then we're going to do 4 more double crochets, which means that we would need to put 2 into the last one. So that's 2, 3, and then an extra one into that last spot. We're basically going to just be repeating this the whole time, so we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. and then we're going to do a double crochet into that same spot, and then we're going to double crochet until we get to our safety pin. Once we get to our safety pin, we are going to double crochet 5 stitches into this one stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to put the safety pin back into the middle of those 5 stitches, and then we're going to crochet, double crochet to the end, and we're going to put 2 double crochets into that last stitch. We want a total of 12 rows, so I currently have 1, 2, 3 rows, and I'm going to be doing this same pattern for a total of 12 rows. So we chain 3, do a double crochet into that same stitch, double crochet to the safety pin, do 5 stitches into the safety pin, into where the safety pin is, crochet, double crochet until you get to the end of the row, making sure you do 2 double crochets into that last stitch, and repeating that for every row until we have a total of 12 rows. Go ahead and try it on, or if it just, after you do your 12 rows, make sure it's the length that you want, the size that you want. If it is too short or too big, go ahead and add more rows or get rid of some rows to make it the size that you want. 12 is what I use, and I find it really nice. I have done bigger and I found it to be too big, and I've done smaller and I found it to be too small. So this is a good length that works well, in my opinion, especially with this yarn. But you are welcome to add or take away as many rows as you need to make sure that it fits. Once we've reached the end of our 12 rows, we are going to chain 61. Once you have your 61 chains, you're going to skip this first chain and put your hook in the second chain from your hook. Then you're going to do a single crochet. Then you're going to single crochet all the way down, giving yourself 60 single crochets, and this is your first strap of your bandana. Once we've done our 60 single crochets along our strap, we are going to work along this raw edge. If it's a little twisted, just turn your work to untwist it, and we're going to work across this raw edge, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So this is where you need to decide if you want to do a solid edging like this, where we just single crochet across. Basically, we just single crochet across the whole thing and increase in the front. Or you can do picos, which I will show you. You could also do shells, but I'll show that in a different tutorial. And by shells, I mean these. So how to crochet into this raw edge is basically we are going to be doing 2 single crochets into each double crochet So each row that we have here gets 2 single crochets. And if that is looking too tight for you and your work is going like this, then you can add more. And if it's too many stitches and it's starting to ruffle, then you can add less. And that's basically, we just want it to be flat. And for me, the best way to do that is to do 2 stitches per row, sometimes adding a third one every once in a while to help keep it flat. So if you want just a plain border, you can go ahead and just single crochet around. But for the picots, we are going to do 3 single crochets and then chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then into the single crochet that we just did, we are going to do a slip stitch, which is a single crochet but without wrapping our yarn. And then we do 3 more single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and then chain 3, and then slip stitch into that same single crochet, and then do 3 more single crochets along this raw edge. And we'll do that all the way until we get to this corner. Once you reach the end of the row, we are going to chain 61. Once you've chained your 61 chains, then we are going to skip this first chain, go into our second chain, and do a single crochet. And then we are going to single crochet all the way down our chain until we get back to here. And we want 60 chain, and we want 60 single crochets. Once we have reached the end of our 60 single crochets, then we are going to single crochet 3, chain 3, slip stitch into the same single crochet stitch, and then continue to single crochet 3 more. And we're going to continue these same picots all the way to our point. And we want to make sure that we start here with our 3 single crochets and then have our picot right here so that it looks like this. For the basic single crochet border around the edge, we will, once we get to this point of our single crochets, we're just going to put 2 extra single crochets into this center point, which gives us 3 single crochets, and then we'll single crochet to the end. Once we're to the point of our bandana, we should be putting our 3rd single crochet into the middle of our 5 stitches, and then we will do our 3 chains, putting our picot right on top, right at the very tip of our bandana, and then we're going to single crochet 3, and then we're just going to keep going with our picots until we reach the end. Once we've reached the end, we are going to fasten off our work. And then sew our tail in to our crochet. Snip off the remaining of our tail. And we've got a beautiful bandana. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you like it, and please feel free to send me any photos of what you've made or tag me on social media at edensfuncrochet. I would be happy to look at anything that you make with this tutorial. I really hope you enjoy it. Bye!